did you actually get new information about your medical condition?
Yes, yeah, that was part of it, and that helped for sure. Yeah.
And was that related to avoidance? Like, is part of accepting your medical condition helped you actually get more information about it so that you can make this discrimination?
Yeah, I think so, and just other things, that I wouldn't have necessarily done before, like, like being more open with friends and family about what is going on with me because I feel less ashamed of it, right? So that thing last year when this was going on, I'd tell my wife about it and tell her, that I was scared and stuff like that. And that led to her like doing some research and saying like, I think, that this is probably related to some of the neurological aspects of this condition that I've got. And yeah, so that helped. Like it was all of those things is being more accepting of the condition and being more, fighting against the shame in a way by in the presence of shame where I want to isolate and not share what I'm feeling with other people, kind of doing the opposite of what the shame is telling you. All of that has been really helpful in getting to this spot where now, otherwise I wouldn't have probably discovered this information that has been really helpful in treating this like less of a threat.
Yeah, all of that's wonderful. And I just want to reinforce it for any medical condition or any psychological condition that the symptoms themselves are painful, but then the shame of having it in the first place, and then the avoidance around not telling friends and family that you have it, or not telling your physicians exactly what you're experiencing, avoiding appointments because of it, can all make them jumbled, like anxiety, depression, and then whatever your medical condition can get all jumbled together, and it's hard to figure out how to respond to all of it, because the way to respond effectively to anxiety and depression is often not counterintuitive. And then the symptoms of medical conditions are often mixed up in anxious and depressive reactions. So the way that you've been able to go towards it and not, I don't know if it's not feel ashamed or like let yourself feel ashamed while you were getting more information. Sounds like it's just been a really, I don't know, do you want to say more about whether you just let yourself feel ashamed or did the shame dissipate somehow?
I think it's kind of like, I don't know if I don't know if it's that I let myself feel ashamed, but that's a nice suggestion too. I think it was more just realizing realizing what's going on with shame as a mechanism, and kind of like when I feel depressed sometimes, the move is to go actually get out in public, right? It's to go shopping, because that's the opposite of what depression is telling me to do. I think shame is one that's a lot like that as well, where if I'm feeling embarrassed or ashamed of feeling a certain way, just exposing myself to the potential judgment of other people is a good idea, because it's often actually a much safer place than I realized.
Yeah. The other thing that I just want to mirror back to you is your ability to describe anxiety, depression, and your medical condition, and how they're all both have similar sensations and symptoms and different ones, has greatly improved in the time that I've known you. I think that's probably both a product of willingness to be vulnerable and actual practice and education. Do you want to say more about that change? Can you tell that you've changed in that way?
Yeah. I didn't realize that that's what it looked like from the outside. I know that from the inside, like certain things just seem easier to deal with than they did before. Yeah, so thanks for saying that, first of all, because yeah, I didn't realize that I had developed that skill enough that it was noticeable on the outside. But yeah, it definitely seems easier in a lot of ways to, if I'm feeling sick, to have some compassion and just be like, okay, well, then maybe I will have to stop working now and take a break. Like I think we did work on that, starting 2 years ago of just balance. Balance is a key thing with work. Since a lot of my content is around work and achievement and things like that, ultimately, and it's kind of this, various conditions that I have getting in the way of that. It's been important for me to be able to recognize, when it's time to stop working, and to be more okay with maybe not getting everything done, maybe not getting everything done perfectly.
Yes, that's great. I think back to the hope conversation, I think what you just said is a really good example of why to maintain hope, because many of these concepts seem so vague or elusive that it's hard to know. There's so many workbooks out there, there's self-help programs, you can do something like an individual therapy or join a group, and usually there's some kind of techniques or tips that you can grasp onto and try for a little while. And I think the example of setting boundaries related to work 2 years ago was a great place to start. Obviously, that's what I suggested 2 years ago. And now, like looking at you today, you have it all. You're able to process it all at the same time. So you're able to identify, describe, and label what's happening internally. You're able to set the boundary around it. You're able to have compassion towards yourself. You see it as like just a process that you're going through, not something to be helpless or hopeless about. And all of those are different skills that a therapist might suggest to someone at different times, but the way that you can pull it all together in any given moment is really evidence of progress. And I think in terms of giving hope to other people, in any given moment that you're stuck, if you can try to remember, there might just be a lot of different steps to me getting out of whatever experience I'm in. And I might be able to describe what is happening, but I don't know what strategies to use. I might have strategies, but I'm not quite sure what my triggers are, or I'm not sure what is keeping me stuck. Like there's just so many different variables that could get somebody stuck at any given time, that another way to maintain hope is to think, maybe I just don't fully understand what's happening right now. And in the future, I might have a clearer picture.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, that would be that would be a great attitude to have, and yeah, like that might be a goal for me, because for everything I just described was kind of different than that, in the sense that I was able to be more comfortable once I understood. I think it would be interesting if I could be comfortable without understanding.
Yeah, I completely agree. Why don't we end on that? Thanks for your
Yep.
time, Jim.
Yep. Thank you.